Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're talking Stan Lee. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent. Sad news yesterday. We had the passing of one of our founding fathers, our legend, our man, our myth, Stan Lee. Also, I think his name's Stanley Lieber. Larry Lieber is his brother. I think he was born Stanley Leibowitz. But he passed away yesterday at 95 years old. To be honest, he lived a lot longer than I thought he would. When his wife, Joni, died, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, I thought that Stan was going to go there pretty quickly, but he actually ended up pulling through and, sticking around a lot longer. Normally when people have been married that long, when one of them passes, usually the next, the other one passes shortly thereafter, or a little bit there. And it was scary for a while with Stan too, because you had all these elder abuse stories coming out from people taking advantage of him, his managers and, hangers on and stuff like that, just, pushing Stan Lee to, all these autograph sessions and things like that where, he didn't look healthy or he was looking really tired and stuff. And that's terrible that they were taking advantage of him, because the fans love him and the fans want as much time with him as they can get. But nobody wants to see anybody taken advantage of, especially a guy who is as revered as Stan Lee was. But I'm glad he's at peace now. He's with his wife. That's great. But we got to thank the man for everything he's done for us, for comic fans. I mean, not only the creation of the countless characters he's had a hand in, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, the Hulk, the X-Men, a lot of the Marvel Age characters in the 60s, the Silver Surfer, Galactus, the Inhumans, Black Bolt, Black Panther. The list goes on and on and on. And, he had a hand in revitalizing Captain America when he brought him back in the pages of the Avengers. So, even though he wasn't a creator, he was the mastermind, the guy behind the whole man frozen in time, stuck in time thing that was used in the movies and things like that. So that was pretty cool. So, gotta thank Stan for that. And, he just made a lot of contributions to the Marvel universe. So that universe is really his universe. And we're just living in it. We're just enjoying all the things that he had a hand in creating in. And, for a while there, people may not think he's the greatest man ever because he stole a lot of the spotlight from some of the artists and things like that. But in his older age, he came around and, started calling things co-creations with Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, or, giving more credit to those artists that helped him out and contributed just as much as he did with the writing and the concept formulation and things like that. I mean, the visual look of a character is a lot, as well as their backstory, as well as their name and things like that. So, but you got to give it up to Stan. He had a hand in so many that it outweighs a lot of these other individual artists' contributions. I mean, definitely like him and Jack Kirby both are legends in the Marvel Universe, creating all those characters. But Jack Kirby passed, I think, in the 1980s, 85, something like that. So there's not a lot of like Jack Kirby interviews that exist. There's a lot of Stan. The other thing that Stan did, his contribution to the comics world, was being a shill for comics from like 1962 to 2018. The entire time, even when he left Marvel and was no longer the CEO, executive editor, editor-in-chief, whatever his title was, when he was no longer in the day-to-day operations, Stan Lee was still out there doing talk shows, doing interviews, talking about comic books, telling stories about, being in the Marvel bullpen and working with Stan Lee, or working with, not himself, but, working with his brother, working with Jim Shooter, working with Jack Kirby, working with Steve Ditko, all these, funny stories you hear about being in the Marvel bullpen in the 60s and 70s. He was out there telling those stories. He was touring conventions constantly. meeting fans and stuff like that. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to go to a MegaCon where they brought him down. I think the first time they brought him down, I was like, I'm going to get my picture with Stan Lee before it's too late. And that was 3 years ago. I think he was 92 at the time. So, and I don't know if his wife had died or not, but when that happened. But yeah, I'm grateful that I got to just stand next to him for a brief second, tell him thank you, tell him how much I appreciated everything he's, you know, created and done, and being an advocate for how great comics are. And I have a memory, you know, I have a picture that will last forever now. So thank you, Stan. Thank you for everything you've done for us nerds, for us comic book fans, and now for the culture in general. The American culture now lives in the Marvel Universe with, you know, the success of Avengers and Infinity War and Black Panther. I mean, it's not just the US anymore, it's worldwide. So know that you have created something that's going to last, you know, as long as those movie studios get their hands on it. They're going to pump every juice and cent out of it, but, you know, great stories will be told on your behalf and have been being told on your behalf. I mean, every Marvel comic still says, you know, Stan Lee presents, you know, Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, that kind of thing. So thank you, sir, for your contributions. Very best wishes to you, and rest in peace.